Welcome back, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, to the super, not funny show reviews. And today we are reviewing Harley Quinn Season 3, Episode 8. It's entitled Batman Begins Forever, and that's, of course, come to you from HBO Max. So, was it good? Was it bad? And should you be watching? Well, Ladi, God, I can't believe we're nearing so close to the end of this third season of Harley Quinn. And we're getting to a pivotal point here, trying to find out what happened to Frank the Plant. And we know Bruce Wayne had something to do with it. So, and last time we saw the previous episode, he got captured by Harley. And so he's at her tender mercies and the mercies of, Poison Ivy. And that's where we start this episode. We're trying to figure out what did he do with Frank. And so much... This is an interesting episode. You remember we had a whole Joker episode, right? Where no Harley, no Ivy or anything like that. This time it's not quite that, but it's really a Bruce Wayne episode. And we also see the return of a former ally, Dr. Psycho. So it's a lot of crazy stuff that's going on in here, and as they say, Batman Begins Forever. That's really kind of points you where it's going in this episode. So, anyway, Ladi, you watched it. What'd you think?
I want to make one comment first before I start saying what I think about the episode. The comment I want to say is Solomon Grundy want pants too. So you'll get what I mean once we're done talking about it. So, in my opinion, this was the best episode of the whole entire season. In my opinion,
Wow, better than Joker for Mayor. Surprise.
Laughs, no, but just it was a well written episode. Like, it was a really well written episode. I like how they did the whole thing with Batman. It's just, he hasn't gotten over the trauma of his dead parents. And this is a thing that, some people don't truly understand about Batman. And it kind of frustrates me about like fans of the movies and stuff, or the TV shows, they don't understand because they're like, I try to tell them like, oh yeah, Batman he's scarred about his parents dying. They're like, oh, but they act like it's like whatever. I'm like, guys, how would you feel if you were like 5 years old and your parents got shot right in front of you? Yeah, I mean, come on now, like, and it's just, Harley once again realizing she's not a villain. She needs to stop acting like she is. She's a hero.
Is she a hero?
She's a hero. Harley is a pretender. Harley's one of those characters that she pretends that Harley is a hero. She's a hero.
I don't know if I believe that. I think that she's a villain, but she has boundaries. Like that's the thing. She didn't have a problem with killing anybody, but she does draw a line at like kids and stuff like that, so that like even in the midst of being in, Bruce Wayne's psyche, she couldn't sacrifice him, or she couldn't stand to watch that keep on happening. That she couldn't stand to watch that. So she does have boundaries. There are certain lines she doesn't cross. There are certain things, and even at the end of it, I'd say she doesn't stop being a psychiatrist when trying to help, people through their stuff. So I don't think she's a hero. She's not quite. She's a villain, but she's not quite the villain like we think. Maybe we thought she was before.
But I do also want to say that fucking shot, and you know what I'm talking about. When she was dressed,
Go ahead.
When she was dressed up as Robin and Batman was standing there, that shot, I was just like, yes.
I was thinking of the ambiguously gay duo from Saturday Night Live. She's basically like, this is a thong. That's good. That was good stuff. I love that they take. So they're so good at like skewering the Batman lore, and sort of looking at it like, this doesn't make any sense. Or in this case, pointing out, because Bruce Wayne, he was getting tortured and everything. Is like, whatever, I'll never talk. And then, they bring in Dr. Psycho and or go, they clench their butts. They go into his mind space. And it's just like this horrible, memory over and over and over again.
Yep.
And then she, of course, she's got the inside line on the way people think. So she's sitting up here trying to like protect him and everything. And then of course we all know as soon as they go into the mindscape, they're gonna figure out, oh, who Bruce Wayne really is. So we already knew where that was going. The question was, what was Harley gonna do with it?
Yeah.
And that's where I think where you're saying like she's a hero. I get it. I get where you're coming from, but it's like she's not a piece of crap, which I think there's a difference between her and some of the other villains. She's not a piece of crap. Like there's humanity in her, and we know that from the way she and Ivy have a relationship, and also the other members of her crew. But even in the midst of knowing that this is Bruce Wayne's, inner self that's still a little child, and that he's kind of beating himself up over and over and over about this, and has a very unhealthy internal, his psyche is, very damaged, that she still can't not help him. And I'm like, even though he's a sworn enemy and all this other stuff. So I see where you're coming from. I still think she's pretty clear that she will totally murder people though.
Oh yeah.
This was a deep episode. I'm like way deeper than you expect a show full of cussing and dick jokes and shit like that. It's way deeper than we thought we'd see.
Yep.
And I loved it. I love this show. It really kind of it's always breaking like your expectations and what you think is going to really happen, while at the same time being hilarious and really sending up things. But there was like real emotional shit in here. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of choked up a bit at some of that stuff in this episode, and I didn't expect that at all. So kudos to the writers on this episode. But yeah, overall, I love that. Even like, what do you think about that at the end? Like Bruce's once he realized what Frank could do and everything, and his whole plan, where it's like he sort of has become a bad guy in a way, in his desire to right the past and see his parents. He blames himself for their death, and to see his parents again.
So one, I know Alfred does almost anything Bruce tells him to do, but if I was Alfred, I would have been pimp slapped Bruce and be like, "Listen, your parents are dead, man." Like, 'cause I've lost a parent recently, and I've been asked this question multiple times. They're like, "If you had a chance, would you bring your mom back to life?" And I'm like, "What type of asshole would I be to do that?" Because I don't know what other people who are listening to this is, but I have Christian beliefs, and I believe my mom is in heaven. What type of asshole would I be to take my mom from that? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I have to be a real selfish, condescending, like everything that you could think of asshole. No, I will let my mom rest. And I'm just looking at Bruce like, bruh, they've been gone for like 20, 30 plus years, man. And you're just, what did you think was, what do you think? They're just gonna be like, yeah. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
thank you for bringing us back. You know what I mean? And it seems like this is how we're going to get Solomon Grundy.
Well, I just think it's interesting that that Bruce Wayne, he is the paragon. Well, I don't want to say paragon of virtue, but he's the good guy. He's Batman,
Yeah.
and yet he's clearly doing a villain turn here.
Yeah.
To bring his parents back, and I mean, he's in a way, is he any different than Mr. Freeze? Really?
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's a very interesting way they're going with it, and to once again see Harley and Ivy sort of being the heroes of Gotham, even though they really wanted to like turn Gotham around. They really wanted to transform Gotham, into their own image. So it's going to be very interesting to see where that goes. But I think overall, this show's. I mean, the show's going great. This is a great episode. It's much deeper than it had any right to be, and I'm really interested to see how they fix all that up. And we're only like, I think we're, I want to say 2 episodes left in the season, so it
Yeah.
should be very climactic. So
Yeah.
anyway, those are our thoughts on this episode. But what did you guys think about Harley Quinn episode 8? And what did you think about what we had to say? Get down to the comment section. Let us know your thoughts. Of course, you can always hit us up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you. Also, do your boys a favor. Get down there, hit that like button, and, hit subscribe. Join the Super Not Funny Show family. Help to grow this channel. We really appreciate it. All right, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, thanks for joining us. Come back next week for episode 9 review of Harley Quinn. Until then, I've been Mo De Poupe, resident fabricant and comic extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the anime expert, video game designer, and lover of all things superhero, my good friend Ladi. We'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.